order next. Okay, I'd like to call a meeting to order at 7:09. Can we please stand for pledge? Or, excuse me, for invocation. David's going to give it.
Thank you. Let's bow our heads for a moment. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and praise for this time together at this meeting tonight to conduct town business, praying that we will conduct this meeting in a manner that's satisfactory to you, that is a meeting that gives due respect to all people present. We're alarmed, Lord, that there's so much division in our national government in the national government, and we pray for a peaceful resolution of the many things that are occurring in our national government. And we look for your blessing upon our time to get together tonight as we discuss and deliberate various issues of the town. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll open the meeting up at 7:10. Sandy, could you please read the roll?
Councilman Cavaldi.
Present.
Councilwoman Schaefer. Here. Councilman Gray.
Present.
Councilwoman Mora. Here. Supervisor Esposito.
Present. Also present, please note, is our attorney, Gerard Parisi. Privilege of the floor. At every scheduled town board meeting, the public shall have the right to address the town board during a portion of the meeting referred to as privilege of the floor. Members of the public should restrict their comments to items of town business, although there is no official time constraint. Speakers should be considerate of others so that all interested members of the public have an opportunity to be heard. There shall be one portion of the meeting dedicated to privilege of the floor near the beginning of each meeting. All remarks and questions shall be addressed to the board. No person shall enter into discussion with the person having the floor. Council members may address any comments during the portion of the meeting referred to as council member comments. Privilege of the floor is opened up at 7:11, and I'd like to start this off with, we're going to dispense with something over here. We're going to allow the board to question. We have a member of the Platterkill Fire Department here, and he'd like to discuss a proposal that the fire department is considering, becoming a commission district instead of a fire protection district, and he'll explain this to you. And if the board has any questions, they haven't made any decision yet, but he would like to speak to us. And Mr. Rudos, Dan, so you can come up and speak, and he'd like to.
Okay, where do I?
You can flip that around so you can.
Okay. Okay. Good evening. My name is Dan Brudos. I'm a member of Platterkill Volunteer Fire Company, and the fire company was formed in 1960 or thereabouts as a fire protection district, and it covers part of Princetown and part of Rotterdam. It's about 3/4 in Princetown and 1/4 in Rotterdam. I'm not sure I know all the specifics. It's the understanding of some of the older gentlemen in the fire company that Platterkill was formed out of the pieces that nobody else was covering. And so it was formed a little bit later than some of the other fire companies, but there was no other coverage up there, and so the gentlemen, farmers mostly at that time, got together and formed a fire protection district. It is, at the time that it was formed, it was not possible to have a commissioned fire district that covered two different towns. Now, a commissioned fire district is a fire district that's a government entity and can levy and collect taxes. Well, I guess we don't technically collect them, but we levy them. We are a fire protection district, which means we're basically just a private company, and we don't sell auto parts, we sell fire protection. And we come to the town of Princetown, we come to the town of Rotterdam every year and give you our budget, and you pay us to cover those areas of the town that we work on. We're starting the process of looking at becoming a commission district, which is now possible to cover two towns or to be a part of two towns in the state of New York. In part because, well, in large part because our fire station is now 60 years old. Apparently the building, when it was originally put up, was taken down from somewhere else and re-erected up on the end of Putnam Road. The building itself is still in pretty good shape, but the ceilings aren't tall enough for modern trucks, and we don't begin to meet any modern safety codes or fire codes and things like that. And so we're starting to look around and say, all right, well, at some point we have to do something. And in order to do something, the first thing we need to do is become a commissioned fire district. So we've started to look into that process. There's a defined process for doing that. We need to let both town boards know. I've already spoken with Rotterdam and with Supervisor Thomasone, and he doesn't see any real issues with it. And so we've sort of come here tonight to let you guys know that this is something we're considering. We haven't decided to do it yet, but we've started the process of looking at it. So that's a little bit of the history and sort of where we are, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them as best I can.
I might add that I met with Dan this past Sunday to discuss this, and I suggested that he meet with the board to discuss it with them.
Yeah.
So everybody knows what Platterkill is facing and what they're considering.
Yeah.
I personally have no objection to it. I don't know how the rest of the board feels. I don't think a lot of the board understand what a fire protection district is and a commission district is. So if they do have any questions, I didn't know it until I was involved with it about 8-10 years ago when I first got in, what the differences are. And
Yeah.
most of the towns, or most of the fire departments that service, other than Platterkill, are commission district, whether
Yeah.
it's Duanesburg, Pattersonville, Pine Grove.
The problem for us comes in borrowing money if we do decide to build something. As a fire protection district, we can go out of business at any time. If the town of Princetown decided they didn't want us anymore, then we would basically go out of business. And therefore, it's very expensive to borrow money. Banks look at us as a high risk, and so that would be difficult for us to borrow money. So as a commission district, we have the ability to tax people, and we would have to vote on a bond if we were to do that. But then we're able to borrow money at very low interest rates.
When you say vote on bond, does the commission itself have bonding power, or do you have to put that up for a vote?
No, they don't have bond, okay. I don't know a lot, so I could be wrong, but my understanding is the commissioners do not have bonding power. And therefore, any bonds have to go up for a vote.
So capital expense, for instance, a building, that type of thing, would have to be,
That's right. It would have
at
to
that
be-
point, would have to go up for vote, but that bond would be essentially the responsibility of the commission.
Of the fire commission, yes. Yeah,
So you would budget for long-term capital improvements.
right, so it would be a 20-year bond or a 30-year bond or something like that. That's right, yeah.
I understand the problems that is facing Platterkill, especially with the reserve up there, the Platterkill Reserve, and what you go through with when you have a call to go in and rescue people, you can't use the ropes over again, and
Yeah,
we all, I understand that, and like I said, I didn't know what the rest of the board did. Like I said, I didn't know what a fire protection district is or a commission district until I got involved in it. And I think it's the right way to go for, not that we have anything to say per se about it, other than, it's up to you and I know it's a long process, from what I understand, it takes about 18 months if you decide to do it.
yeah, yeah.
The other question I would have is, do the residents in Platterkill have to vote on that?
I don't believe so. I believe both town boards have to be in agreement. But I don't believe the residents have to vote on it. But I could be wrong. It's about 25 pages of process, and I've gone through it, but I don't remember I don't believe there's a public vote on it, but I could be wrong. Mr. Parisi might,
I don't know offhand.
yeah.
I think the boards have to establish the map and district and boundaries, but
Right.
I'm not sure if there's a public hearing involved, or if there's a vote.
I believe there's public hearings involved. As I recall, the town boards have to meet together twice during the process. And maybe one of those is a public hearing, and then the second one is just to vote on it, but I don't remember the particulars. We have been advised, we've been in contact with the New York State Association of Commissioned Fire Districts. And so they have attorneys that they can recommend, and they recommend, establishing a relationship with an attorney so that we make sure we do everything properly.
Are the majority of districts like that, commission districts, the majority of them
Oh, yeah.
in New York? So basically, you're on the end of the scale as far as numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yep. And it's my understanding, and I could be wrong as well, that this has been something that's been driving districts to become commission districts, is the need to upgrade fire, to do capital projects. As a basically a private company, it's very difficult to raise inexpensive money, or to bond money. And as a commission district, that just lowers costs considerably.
I can say my father was on the town board in Princetown. I was 11 years old. I carried blocks for that.
Did you?
George Long, Warren Gifford,
Yeah,
all of them.
yeah,
I carried blocks for that at 11 years old.
Yeah.
They built it.
oh yeah, Warren still comes and those guys say, wow, we built the original firehouse for less than $8,000, and
Yep.
I'm sure they did. And unfortunately, or fortunately, they did a really good job at it. You did a great job building.
That
it
was
up.
all free.
Yeah,
Nobody,
yep. And so
I was there.
times have changed. Yeah, no, times have changed, and it's very difficult to, build a building for $8,000 anymore. So,
A gated building, woodshed.
yeah.
Just one more question.
Sure.
In the event that you were to buy the project, capital project, and bond out 20 years and so forth, then the per capita cost would be attached to the tax bills when they get sent out. Be a separate line on that bill.
That's right. Yes, and that would have to be voted on. If we were gonna bond out a new firehouse, that would have to go to a vote of the residents of the fire district, or the fire protection district. So, for example, part of Princetown is covered by Dwaynesburg. There's a little chunk of, as I understand it, Princetown that's part of the Dwaynesburgs.
Right.
So they wouldn't vote on our, and they don't get taxed by us. It would only be the people within our fire protection district that would vote on it and pay taxes on it.
So, again, I hate to belabor the point, but let's say you build a building, it's $1 million. Does the state have any monies that they provide when you try to do this to meet the current standards?
No, not as far as, not that we've been able to find anyway. The state has grant programs for equipment. They have, for example, we've gotten rope rescue equipment from the state. We've gotten wildland fire protection gear from the state. But the state, as far as we can find, doesn't provide any capital project money. And so that's sort of, again, has been this push. If you're aware of it,
No, I'm not, that's why I
Yeah.
asked, I don't.
yeah, not to our knowledge. And, we pursue grants and we've looked for that. We bring in a fair amount of money in grants to cover stuff. But capital projects doesn't seem to be something the state gets involved in.
Is it true, I heard that, like, you go in the Potterskill thing up there, and you go over the bank with ropes and all that, you use them once, and then they gotta get new ones?
If the ropes have been used for life protection, in other words, if I'm attached to a rope and I go over the edge, it can be only used once.
That's
If it-
what I heard.
Yeah, if it's used, well, you didn't ask the question, but we go over with 2 ropes. And one of the ropes is the main rope. That's the rope that can't be reused. The secondary rope that goes over as a safety, as a belay line, it can be reused because it has not been used as a life protection. And we have a protocol for going over that rope foot by inch, and it takes a while for a 300-foot rope. And it can be put back in service, but a rope that's been used for life protection can only be used once. That's a state regulation.
What's the cost of it?
That's ridiculous.
I want to say $600 for a rope.
Yeah, it's a couple bucks a foot,
Yeah,
about $1.80 a foot.
yeah, they're not,
Not cheap.
they're not regular climbing ropes. They're a 9,000-pound low stretch rope because you don't want your rope to stretch when you're pulling on it. And so it can only be used once if it's been used for life protection.
So the procedure starts, you've already talked with Rotterdam. I know you probably didn't speak with the whole board yet.
No.
But, and now you've talked with us, I met with you privately here, and now you've met with the full board.
Yep.
And I don't know how the rest of the board feels. Do you feel that,
I think that, I actually think it's probably a good idea, because a commission district, then the financial responsibility is on them. We're not dealing with the budget every year, as we've run into issues with the budget. If you submit it to us late and we don't vote on it quick enough, you lose out,
Yeah.
which we've run into those problems. We don't like to do that. It makes it difficult for everybody.
Yep.
It makes us look bad and mean, which we're not. We
No,
just,
no,
it's late, it's late.
Yep.
So we've run into those problems. And personally, I have no problem being out of that financial loop.
Mm-hmm.
So from my perspective, I don't have a problem with it.
Sue?
I'd have to research it or look at it more. I had no idea about it yet until just now, so
Okay.
I'd like to get some more information.
Right.
I think it's a good idea. I'm okay with it. Seems like it's gonna protect you guys and protect us, as Jim just said, so if it's gonna make things easier for all of us, then it's probably a good idea.
You done?
I'm fine with it. I told you, I worked on that building.
We'll find the cinder block with your name on it.
Well, this is a long process now, so you're gonna be going back to your board and discussing it.
Yeah.
And be voting on it, just keep us in the loop with it naturally, and,
Yep.
Marv, you're familiar with this whole process. I'd like your input because you have a lot more experience than any of us.
Yeah, well, I don't know how far to get into it. We can back up. When they started, I worked for the town at that time. I was the one and a couple of other farmers up there. We went to fires in Plotterkill as Plotterkill firemen. That's the way we started. It was Felix Dremel, probably some of you guys remember Felix Dremel, a fireman up there, and some other people.
My
But
grandfather was on
anyway,
that as well.
most of the time, and I'd like to tell the state that the state is against anything that they aren't on top of and control. They have to be God Almighty. Now, when Plotterkill started, they needed a lot of bucks. You need a pumper, a certified pumper. You need hose equipment, a certain amount of hose equipment, and you need a lot of other things, a building, to put the truck in. Well, Plotterkill didn't have it. I mean, and again, I'll back up to when my father commissioned our district. He started it. My mother bought 1,500 feet of hose, okay, out of her pumpkin money, and my father bought the truck, okay? Then he provided the barn to put the truck in. Well, that's the way he got started. Well, that took him over 3 years to get through the state then. Now, we got so many more offices and so many more telephones and so many more people with the state for them to get started.
You don't think the state would let us use pumpkin money?
Let me tell you something. The state's not going to give you nothing except a grant where they can get money. but they just want money for votes. That's all they want for it. Now, personally, I think it's a good thing if Platterkill can do it. And I think it's good for everybody.
That's my
And
question
the
to you,
people,
because you
yeah,
know this.
okay, then I'll go back to it, but Jim, but then the people have when they go for another truck, or when they go for any large expenditures, the people in that district has a vote to vote for that bond, just what he said. He was not far or off there at all. Now, you do have other protection districts. You have Pattersonville that protects part of the upper end, and you have Duanesburg that protects a small piece in around Maven Road. I'm not sure because it's been a long time since I was chief and really involved with that part, with Pine Grove. So, but and actually, to say to the board, I think it's a good thing. I think it's more representation on the people. If the people, and they have to post every time they put out for a bond issue if they want to. And again, a truck today, we just give $550,000 for a new truck. Well, you gotta program that out so that you don't rob the people really in your district to make that fit. You know, so it's up to their, like, would be their commissioners to make that fit, and all those residents in that district have a right to go to the board meetings. I mean, we have our board, what people may not realize, we have our board meetings with the commissioners on Sunday. The Sunday morning, it's when the chief and everybody can get together. It's whatever works. They've done it at night, but ours just happens to be on Sunday. Because it was Sunday morning, it seems to work better. But to answer your question to the board, I think it's a good thing. And I think it's good for you to cooperate with them, because like I say, when I worked for the town, the supervisor, or superintendent-supervisor, maybe Dougie's father, or Robert, Bobby McLean, might have been highway superintendent. He said, of any time the phone rings and you get a call at the town hall, that if I was in there cleaning or working, or knew the fire call was, that's where the truck was. When Walt Loman, Harry Loman, there was a lot of different guys mixed in it.
Bradshaw,
Alton
Bradshaw
Bradshaw.
had my father
Yeah,
beat him in the election in 1953.
okay.
And he had the Walters trucks up on Rival Road.
Dan, just so you know that Marvin's been a long time Pine Grove, and his son is the fire chief
Okay.
in Pine Grove, Wesley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can rely on him for a lot of our fire department
Yeah.
expertise.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm familiar with it, and I got absolutely nothing wrong with it. It takes a lot of responsibility off, because you have an independent company, and you have the independent company has to hold a whole ball of wax with you people that don't keep the company operating.
Yeah.
You don't have any decent protection.
Yeah.
And I mean, as far as us or any districts around, as far as I know, of course, I'm not in a command now, everything works fine as far as the cooperation between us and Platterkill, or us and Duanesburg, or, you know, of the commission districts. And again, Duanesburg, we'll say like Duanesburg, that we work somewhat with as far as mutual aid on bigger fires, is a commission district in Duanesburg, but not in Princetown. So the people of your residents, of our residents in Princetown that live in Duanesburg, actually have a vote to go to Duanesburg to listen, and they can't say anything because they can't make any decisions, because they have to pay whatever Duanesburg's commissioners want to charge them. In other words, they bill you. Right, they bill Princetown Board, correct, for what the fire tax is gonna be.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, is there any other questions for him?
Oh, thanks for the presentation, certainly. I don't have a problem with it. I think for the most part, I don't think the board will have a problem with it.
Okay.
Are you going to be talking with the Rotterdam Town Board other than,
I have been asked to, but I'm certainly more than happy to, yeah. I think at this point, we need to, as a company, decide what we're gonna do, and we'll go from there. Thank you for your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any others? Privileges of the floor? No other comments? Dave? Any other comments? No? Okay, we'll close privilege of the floor up at 7:35. All right, highway. Nick, you're up.
We had a good, December was a good month, I had no problems at all that I know of. I'm surprised with the wind. Usually we got trees in the road. Luckily, I guess the trees all stayed where they belong. So, that's about it, everything was fine.
Any questions for Nick?
No.
Our water commissioner is not feeling too well, so we don't think we have a report from Sandy. Did we get a report at all? No. He's not feeling too well, so we don't have anything from him. Our code enforcement just left. He's in the office over there, so. Oh, he gave you a report?
Give it to Jack.
Okay. Building inspector. Total permits 3, permits issued 3, permit fees collected $445, inspection 7, code zoning inspections 1, fire inspection 0, final building inspection 0, certificates of occupancy compliance 0, financial report December, January, $1,168.54, check to the supervisor $1,100, checkbook balance January 8, 2019, $68.54. Activities and zoning 2, working on complaint as needed, working on planning and zoning as needed, working on permit final inspection as needed. Any questions for Tom? I can get him if he's...
No, good.
Okay. We did have somebody issued a complaint about Route 7 again. I think it's the property up here on the left. I'm gonna have to talk with Tom about it. I'm just gonna have to get a hold of the property owner and try to straighten it out again. Okay. Our top board.
End of December was quiet as usual, and the past couple days of this new year has been crazy. It was just 2 calls in one day, which is unusual. Separate incidents. One was a dog bite on a person. Another was a couple of loose dogs running around up by Kelly Station. And then on Friday was another call about a woman who found a couple of dogs, which I thought might have been the ones that were running. And it turned out that all 3 incidents were connected with the same 2 dogs, which were running around without a license, no vaccine. But with the help of Sandy, who's always been a big help to me, I can always call her to get information if I need it. She informed me also today that they came forward to vaccinate the dog and got the tag today, so everything's okay. The girl that was bitten, she just had like a pressure bite from the dog. It was almost like the dog just wanted to come up and play, and just bruised a little bit on the back of her calves. And they weren't really concerned about medical or anything like that. And so they just wanted me to be aware that the dogs are getting a little bit more bold. So I spoke to the owner and just asked him to try to keep them keep him on the property. And so he's agreed to do that. So that's about it. Everything's good now. So let's hope it goes back to being quiet.
Any questions for Ben?
No.
So- Okay, thank you, Ben.
All right.
Court, I don't see the new judge here. I don't think she was in court anyway because,
Oh, she did.
oh, did she?
Yeah, she emailed me saying that she would probably, she was gonna try to be here, but if she got here, she would be late. She asked me to print this report, she emailed it for me and submit it to the board. This is that report, right? That's her
All right,
report.
I'll read it then. The court only started on January 1st, 2019. When I took office, I came into an office without funds to begin. Since then, I've deposited $4,780 in bail. I do, however, need to find out why, according to the records, the bail account is listed as $4,500. This I will do in the next few days. Judge Miller did not report his December 2018 report to the CFO of the town of Princetown in the amount of $4,723.
Did report.
Oh, he did report? Oh, he did report, excuse me. I have not reconciled this, however, since I have no access to the account of the former judge. Tickets are coming in. My first calendar was 1/2/19. There was only one case for a DWI. This Wednesday, January 9, 2019, will begin with a calendar that includes criminal and vehicle and traffic cases. I will have much more better idea of the caseload after the next few weeks, and I will present my summary report at the February 2019 meeting, respectively submitted, Michelle Van Order. Any questions?
No.
No? Okay, buildings and grounds. We signed the contract, we're still under the budget, what we appropriated for the LED lighting. They're going to return the other ones. They gave us the wrong ones that I stated last month. They're going to pick up the ones that are in the community room, deliver the new ones, and then they're going to be putting it in. It's going to go on this past year's budget. As long as we get it done, well, it is going to be done very shortly. So they're going to be doing that. I did get the, just today, 3 o'clock this afternoon, Sandy and I received it from the same company for National Grid, Rise Engineering, which is getting us the grant for the state police building. We've been doing this on our own, replacing the lights over with LED lighting, and it just came to me that we should be applying for the grant, and we are going to receive the grant. The total project cost is replacing all of the lights outside of the building. It's $9,531.49. That's finishing the inside, which is still quite a bit of lighting that has to be replaced. I wish I would have known about this earlier. We could have got it all done at once, but the grant's going to be for $3,205.19. The customer net cost is going to be $6,326.30. Estimated electric cost savings annually at $1,835.46. Estimated gas cost savings annually, $145 minus $145.60. Estimated maintenance savings annually, $388.46. Estimated heating and air conditioning, I guess, is savings annually is $106. Total estimated savings annually is $2,184.84. I'd like to put this on this 2018 budget so we can start 2019 fresh. And everybody's got a copy of it. I'm sorry I got here so late because Rise Engineering just finished this up. And it's here, it's not on the agenda because the agenda was already written up. But I'd like to move forward with this if it's okay with the board. There's the cost savings, and like I said, we're replacing those lights as they continue to go bad. There's a bunch of them over there now that have to be replaced. And like I say, we've been replacing them with LED lighting, and I think we should do it all at once and take advantage of the grant, and we'll be done with it, rather than us paying for it, not getting the grant, getting it all done at once. how the board feels about it, but I'm certainly in favor of it. I don't know. Sue?
This is for, it's cost you about 9,000, and they're grants for 3.
That's the total project cost. The 3,000 is the incentive for the grant.
That's just for.
The net cost to the town is gonna be $6,326. I might add, we didn't spend any money.
Oh,
We haven't spent hardly any money on the state police building this past year, other than, replacing the lighting as it's been going bad. So, I think our revenue on that building is $42,000 a year. So, we're actually supposed to be spending most of that on that building, so. I think I think we should get it all done and take advantage of the grant and be done with it.
Yeah, we're gonna have a savings with that too, right? The power savings?
Yeah, it is right there.
Yeah.
It's the,
So,
2,184
right, yeah.
we're saving, right?
Yes, that's a total estimated savings annually. The LED lighting, everybody knows, they use hardly
Right.
any, 100-watt light bulb today only uses, it's an LED, it's like 7.5 watts or 14 watts, I think, as opposed to 100. So, even though we don't pay for the electric bill over there, the state pays it, but we have to pay to replace the lights. So, as we have to pay to replace the lighting, why not take advantage of the grant that's gonna come in with this to do it, rather than us doing it piecemeal as they go bad. I think there's 3 or 4 lights that have to be replaced now. Those are the fluorescent lighting in there, and they're gonna replace them with the diode lighting, as they are gonna do in the hallway and in the offices. So, in our building here. Doug?
No, I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Good.
How long do they say they're supposed to last?
Pardon?
How long are they supposed to last?
Oh, past our lifetime.
They last for years. They don't, there's no heat generation in LED, so they last for years.
You're
The
talking
heat is what
20
kills
years.
everything.
The light bulbs I've been replacing in our house, say 10 to 12 years, 15
That's what
years.
I'm thinking, I'm like, I have those energy efficient,
Yeah.
bulbs, and they say they're supposed to last a couple of years, they don't last 6 months.
Yeah,
That's
well,
why I'm just wondering how long.
that's what they claim, they say that they'll outlast us, so. I don't know, maybe not Cole, but I think the rest of us here. So, do we need a resolution for this, George?
Well, can I see what?
And there's the signatures I have to put on.
Can you just come back, can I just come back to this?
Yeah, come back to it.
Before we move on to building and grounds, and a week ago tonight, we voted on all the appointments in town, and one of the appointments that we voted on was building and grounds, which is what Lou does, and he accepted that appointment at no cost to the town at all. There's no payment at all. I mentioned this last time. I feel impelled to mention it again because Lou is here almost daily. We've had a lot of issues here with our heating system, with our roof, with all kinds of things, and Lou takes care of all of that. He doesn't even submit bills to the town for gas mileage. He's back and forth to Albany all the time. I think it's very important that the townspeople know that this position, which gets zero pay and is attended to on a daily basis, is done by Lou. And I think, I just wanted to reiterate that. I know I did last week, but we didn't have the cameras here, so the rest of the town wouldn't know that. So I think it's
Can I also reiterate his helper, who's there all the time with him. She's over here.
right. Yes, that's right. Right. I don't want to leave her out, but and we could not afford. Quite honestly, the town does not have the money to afford a paid position for building and grounds to do what Lou does. Quite frankly, I wouldn't do it myself. It's just too much work. But I think the town owes a debt of gratitude to Lou and his wife, and I just want to make sure I get that on the record so that townspeople know.
Thank you, Jim.
I could add to that too, Jim. He helps a lot with the highway stuff with me.
Right, he's always,
Yeah.
right,
He's always, he's
brother.
always there. When I got something going on, I give him a call and he's right there. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you. Yeah, I might add though to this, you know, I'm not the only one here. People on the town board have contributed a lot too. I know that Nick uses his own equipment. Doug has been over here with his equipment. Jim is our IT person. I don't think anybody knows that. He takes care of the computers. We used to hire on this anytime there was a problem, but they've been calling Jim. And that's quite costly, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute about this. What's been transpiring with our security system. I don't know if you want to get into that, Jim.
Well, cybersecurity is an issue, and we're looking into shared services with the towns to possibly share some service with cybersecurity. We may want to look into that to upgrade our cybersecurity. There's cost involved in that, so we're going to see if there's grant money available. We're going to see if there's assistance available through the county, but that is on the agenda for this year.
Yeah, how much was it gonna cost a computer to?
I got a quote from Omnis, I believe it was like $35 or $38 per computer for the added upgraded cybersecurity. If that's our only option, we may have to do that, but we're looking into every option, including possibly having the county provide us some shared services in that regard.
And how much is that a year?
Well, $35 per computer, we have 10, that's $350 a month. So we're looking at about $4,500 a year. 4,000, right around there.
Also, gonna look into sharing our services with the county or the town for a planner. We really can't afford a planner. Tom has been doing Marini's been helping out with the planning board as the planner. But as we look down through the agenda tonight, we're looking at using him for something else. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But he can't be doing that and doing the planning, which he's been doing, and he hasn't been compensated for it. But we'll get into that very shortly. Okay, any other questions? Oh, yes, there is one other thing. I would like to go out and get estimates to, I'd like to see if we could get this on this year's budget as opposed to next year's, because we're gonna be closing out the books next month. The final books, I guess, for 2018. I'd like to get some estimates to repaint the inside of this building, excluding the courtroom here, because we still have to do this leak, and we're gonna have to get estimates for replacing the roof this year. And I'd like to see if we can get the town hall upgraded with painting, and maybe cleaning of the carpets in here. Nothing has been done in the interior of this building since it was built. The offices are starting to look at, as you can see, the courtroom is starting to look at, but we can't do anything in here until we do something with the leak in the roof here. And we're gonna get estimates for that this coming year. So I don't know what the board feels, if they want me to go out and get 3 estimates for the painting of the interior of the building. And we can decide on it next meeting.
That's fine.
Doug?
Yes.
And Sue?
Sure.
Jim?
Yep.
All right, I'll go out.
We're basically the same color scheme, more or less.
Basically, unless the people that are in the offices want to change. I don't know if Sandy wants hers changed, or, you know, if anybody wants to change, I can't see it. But really, really it's starting to look, you know, when was this building built? I don't even remember what the, it's on the outside, built to there.
It's like 2001, I think.
I know 2001, it's due, 2001, it's really due.
Well, I got some bids for painting it before.
Yeah, just, we only had one estimate done, we gotta get three to do this. So if you can get that one that you had before, have them come over and, you did the whole thing, excluding this room, we'll do that after the roof is replaced.
I don't think it's the roof, I think it's the.
And have that in there, it's very possible.
That's where because that ductwork, it's all going that way.
Yeah, it's on this side too. Okay, any other questions with that? You don't mind if I get, talk with the county about, see what, we could share services with the planning board for a planner?
That's fine, too.
Okay, you know, see if we can look into that too.
Can I go back to this a second?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So am I correct that National Grid gets the grant, has nothing to do with you guys, as far as getting that discount? That's all for National Grid?
Yes.
Of their doing, correct? So it's got options in here on how to pay for it if you decide to do it. You can have a lump sum payment, it's
Lump
discounted
sum.
10%, so the cost is $58.10. Otherwise, there's kind of like financing involved.
No, we're not gonna find it.
So
I
you're-
talked with Iowa.
So you're talking about the lump, so the lump sum is 5,800, not the 6,000 on the bill. It's 58,1019. That's what you're
Yeah, that's a savings, I didn't see it. Anything else on? Do we need a resolution to,
Next time, tell them to get into it before, 2 hours before the meeting.
he just got back and he had a target on this, so we can get it on this year. Do we need a resolution for this?
Yeah. What, do it now?
Yeah, might as well.
Say now, maybe, I wrote them down. Say it slowly, or can you get it in the recording?
And I'm gonna copy
Oh, yeah.
that.
Okay, so it would be a resolution to authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement with National Grid, authorizing the installation of the equipment listed on the Small Business Energy Savings Plan, which is to be attached and incorporated with said agreement. Said installation to cost no more than $5,810.19, said amount to be paid in one lump sum.
Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Thank you, I'll sign that and we'll get that off tomorrow. Okay, public hearings, none. Cheryl, would you go ask, no, he gave it to me, no, forget that. Public hearings, none, meeting minutes. It is hereby resolved that the meeting minutes of December 11, 2018, regular town board meeting, and January 2nd, 2019, organizational meeting are approved or as amended. Discussion?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Okay. Enactment of town policies and procedures. Public use of town hall and town property. It is hereby resolved that the use of the town hall facilities, including but not limited to the town hall, town recreation room, and outside premises, the town premises shall subject to the following policy. All such use shall be reserved strictly for residents of the town of Princetown, and any resident wishing to use the town premises must first enter into a written contract with the town of Princetown at least 30 days prior to the intended use date unless an emergency exception is granted by the town supervisor, in which case the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute an agreement with a town resident without further town board resolution. The written contract with the town shall require, among other things, that the primary intended user of the town premises will be a town resident. A deposit of $350, said deposit is to be held until the conclusion of the event and upon inspection of the town premises by the town building inspector. All of said deposit, except for a $35 service and use fee, will be returned to the resident upon approval of the premises after the event, and if all other terms of the agreement are not breached. The reason this is, I asked her to write something up, and then we can go on a discussion of this, what we think the amount should be, if anybody's got any different opinions about it. But it's come to my attention that sometimes someone will take the town hall and give it to people that do not live in Princetown to use the town hall, and that's not what it was intended for, the community room. The discussion?
Also, just so everybody knows, feel free to make any changes. I just drafted this based on the comments I heard the last meeting or two, also mentioning the folks who didn't clean up.
Yes.
That's why I kind of threw that deposit in there.
Do we have the capacity to take a credit card here at town hall? No. You know, in light of the fact that we can't take a credit card, well, of course you can give, I suppose people can give a check, but that's a substantial amount of money for somebody to bring in cash, although a check, we can accept a check for that, correct?
Yes.
The $350.
Sandy deals with this on a regular basis, so Sandy, you have any comment on it?
I don't know if I would need to know, am I just holding on to the check and not doing anything with it? And
No,
then
we would have to deposit and hold it.
I need to know where it would be deposited.
It would be similar like the town designated engineer, town designated attorney. It's basically like an escrow.
That's just one account that we have. We would probably need a separate one if that's what we're gonna do for this.
Possible. I don't know how much activity you had with the hall.
Well, residents use it, but they don't pay anything, so I'm going to start accepting deposits. I need to know what to do with it.
I mean, how many residents use it? Is it a frequent thing or?
It's fairly
It is.
regular, yeah.
Okay. Well,
What would be for? I mean, I know the seniors, because they don't do it here anymore either, though, right? You're
They
the
still
seniors.
have lunch here.
Yeah, they have lunch.
So if they're using it for lunch, are they gonna have to do that and
I
follow?
wouldn't think the seniors would, they're here on a monthly basis, and they've been here for years. I think they would
I
have
think
to.
I think they should enter into it. It can be a year-long agreement, but anybody using the premises really should have some sort of agreement. I mean, I think that's where you were going with this. And if you're gonna have the policy, you gotta really enforce it against everybody. I don't think you can let certain people use it without entering into a contract, and other people have to enter into a contract. I think you need a consistent policy. I don't care what the policy is, but I think it should be consistent.
I wouldn't mind tabling this for a month. Do we have to vote on it tonight?
No.
I would think that we should table this for a month with some thought.
I agree, I think 350 is kind of high to hold, you know, for somebody that needs to come in and use it, like say it was the Girl Scouts, or, you know, somebody, if somebody's having to put up $350, you might not have that. I mean, they might be able to put it, like
Well,
she said, on a
yeah,
credit
the other
card
thing
to
is,
hold it or something.
We haven't been doing that, so now all of a
It's gonna
sudden.
be a shock.
It's gonna be a shock,
Right.
so I would like to just hang on to this and just table it for a month and think about it.
Well, because for the $350 now, like the seniors that come once a month, they'll pay the $350 every month. I don't think they're.
Well, no, they get it
for like-
back, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
yeah, they
but-
get it back, but like, are they gonna wanna have to put forth that every month? I think it's a good idea to, you know, to do this and stuff, so, because every place you rent, really, like the firehouse, says
Every place
Benton
has
to
that, right.
do it. I think it was like a couple hundred last time we did that, but, and we got it back, but still, I mean, most places have some sort of deposit.
If the seniors did it, it would be for a year anyway, right?
Yeah, I think they should probably just have a deposit on for the whole year.
So we'd have to hold that money for a year.
Yes, I think, to see they get there.
Right, they only get how much from
Well, that's to be determined, that's why you said you want to
Right.
think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's give this, I think we should table it. I don't want to vote on this point.
You agree?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay.
Is there a motion to table?
Is there a mo- yeah.
I'll make a motion that we table this for at least 1 month,
the,
to give it some thought, to see if there isn't any other option that we could consider. You know, it is a small town, residents do use it. I don't want to have a resident come in here who used it a year ago and, you know, for free, and then come in and say, well, by the way, it's gonna cost you this and that and the other. And there may be another way around this, but we've got a month to think about it.
Yes. Okay.
The whole thing, the reason this came up, and I'm not gonna get into specifics, but we have had problems. And we've had to incur extra expense for cleaning. We were, just a lot of problems. And this is kind of a reaction to that. We weren't happy about that. We don't have, you know, a lot of staff here that can handle all this stuff. It more or less all falls on Lou. And so this is the reason this is even coming up.
And Sandy, because she
And
has to
Sandy,
handle
right,
the,
Sandy has to handle it.
she has to ask the questions and she'll have to handle contract signing or whatever too, so she's gonna be doing this too.
And there's the issue of the banking, because Sandy's indicating that we might have to open a whole separate account. If we do that, then there's gonna be an expense for the account to maintain, right? They don't open them for free personal accounts, right?
Out of all the times we've been doing this, that actually was an isolated incident, what happened at that one time. All the time I know we were letting it out, there never was a situation like that
Yeah.
happened last time, which I don't know if the audience remembers that, or you want to tell them.
Yeah, what happened with a couple of weeks back or a month ago. But the other problem is people are taking the hall, and that's more of a concern to me than what happened before, is that they're not being used by Princetown residents. Somebody from the town is taking the hall and then giving it to residents that are not, or to people that are not residents of Princetown. And I don't think that we should be doing that. I mean, it's
Right,
for
but there's
the,
ways to address that as well, and that's why I think we should take a month to think about this and,
you know, I don't care if it's, and all of the residents, we've never denied any of the residents this. It's just that I don't think that we should be obligated using our town hall for people in Rotterdam to come here and use it, or Gilderland, or any place else, because they can get it for free. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, there's an issue here, like, how about our family now? Like my daughter has used it a few times for
Well,
parties, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's your family though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for
okay
you.
then.
Yeah, it's
But
your
this has to
family.
be into the writing or some way or another, I don't see it in here, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, well,
That's why it should be, like you said, it's table it until you get it straightened
yeah,
out.
we'll think about it. We got a month to come up with something.
I don't know, does everybody, unless you think that we should be letting it out to non-residents?
No, I don't think that's the case. I think, you know, but I do, and there's no problem with someone signing something, a contract, which we do have, right? Right now, we have a contract when, Sandy, when somebody rents it or takes the hall. And I don't even mind, you know, a deposit. I just think that for people that have been using it for free, you know, people pay taxes in town. And one of the little perks they get is if they need a hall for, I've never had to use it, but if they needed it, they could use it. And all of a sudden they come back and say, oh, wait a minute, last year it was free, now you want all this? That's probably not gonna make them too happy.
Pretty much what you gotta do is if they rent the place, okay, they're the ones that's gotta clean it up. If it's not clean to your satisfaction, then they gotta come back and clean it.
How do you make them do
Basically, what the time is.
Yeah, but we've had that issue and they didn't come back and clean it and there was nothing we
Well,
could.
that's
Yeah,
where you
that's
were
what's-
wrong. You gotta state right in the thing, look, you gotta have it clean to our satisfaction. If you don't, then you're gonna pay for it. To pay
The
someone.
problem with that is they don't pay, and then we have to sue them and incur costs to collect, and the deposit avoids all that. That's
Well,
what
yeah,
the
because then
problem
if it looks all good, then they get their deposit back, and
Right.
then if
You're not
it's,
chasing
then you
them in
just keep
court
whatever
for-
money.
And I'm not opposed to a deposit, I'm just saying, I think 350 is too much, quite
Well, yeah,
frankly. I really
think
do.
it's too much. Because, yeah,
I just think it's too much. I mean, especially for a town resident who had used it for free a year ago. And all of a sudden, we're asking them for $350 plus a $35 charge. I just think it's too much. I'd like to at least think about it for a month.
There was not a lot of thought into the 350, actually. It was 35, you had mentioned $35 was a fee, and I just basically had to
Yeah.
throw out a number for it. I don't feel like there's any particular reason I have that number.
Motion's on the floor, did we get a second? Did we?
Yes.
Sandy?
Councilman Voldy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora,
yes,
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito.
Yes. Okay. Procurement policy. It is hereby resolved the town of Princetown adopts the following procurement policy, see attached.
There's no change from the prior 2 or 3 years.
2 years.
So is it necessary to read the
I
whole
don't
thing?
think we have to read the whole thing. If there's no change, unless somebody wants me to.
you don't have
Jack had a question.
On the estimated amount purchase, 4 and 5, I think the method might be backwards.
Where are you living?
Under guideline 3, the method of purchase, it's got the estimated amounts of purchase on the left, numbers 4 and 5. He's thinking that if the method is backwards, so the written approval should be for over the $500 and the 2 verbal should be for the $300 to $500. Is that backwards?
So for 300 to 500 should be 2 verbal quotes, for 500 to 3,000 members of town board written approval. That does make sense. So, yes, that makes sense, doesn't it, Lou?
I just pasted and copied it, so I don't know if it was
Yeah,
written that way
it looks like
before.
it's just a simple mistake.
Yeah, it probably was written that way
I'm not
before.
sure.
But a good catch, Jack.
But it makes sense that for the larger amount, you would require the town board written approval. For the smaller amount, 2 verbal quotations.
I'm not sure I agree with you, because the smaller amount doesn't require an outside quote. And I would think it would be the larger amount where you need to go to get outside quotes.
that makes sense.
So I'm not sure.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Mhm.
And do we normally have 2 quotes or 3? 2 is enough?
Well, it's whatever policy you guys want to put in place.
And then it should be 4 should mention that you need the quotes, just like in number 6.
Well, I think the idea was not to need outside quotes until it was over $500. Which kind of matches the second part too.
You took this right from last year?
Yeah, I didn't review it, but unless it could have been wrong last year theoretically also.
I just happened to see that, and
But I'm not sure that it's wrong.
So for 300 to
You
500,
can do it in-house.
we can do it in-house without
Not
quotes.
going out, exactly.
Then beyond that, 500 to 3,000, we need 2 quotes.
I think that's the way it's supposed to be,
Okay.
actually.
All right, that makes sense, that does make sense. That does make sense. You follow that, Jack?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But we don't need any approvals?
We don't, well, for 3 to 500,
No, I mean the 500 to 3,000.
you need 2 verbal quotes.
500 to 3,000.
All of this is like under the way you would need approvals,
Okay.
so they're all small amounts. So I mean, you can make whatever rules you want.
Any further discussion?
I'll make the motion, we accept this.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Voldy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora,
Yes,
Councilman Gray,
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito.
Yes. Appointment of water assistant to George Meade Water Commission. I stated, I don't know if it was at the last meeting, George has been working 7 days a week for the past 15 years. He's indicated to me that he would like to only work 5 days a week instead of 7. And George is getting up in age, just like we all are, and I think for him to ask that he only works 5 days a week, or when he has to take a day or two off, that we have somebody that is capable and knows the water system to fill in. And there's going to be a day coming when George is going to want to retire. So he spoke with Tom, our building inspector. I spoke with him, had a long talk with him, and he is interested in working as an assistant and learning the system. We haven't discussed any salary, but he would require training, and he would have to go to school, and there would be an expense to the town to send him to get the training and to work with George to learn it. You know, it's kind of a complicated system. George knows it. He's actually the only one who really knows the system. He does have, but they're not going to want to do it on a regular basis either, or want to, if George decides to retire, come in and fill in. So I'm opening this up for discussion.
I said it 4 or 5 years ago.
You've been saying it regularly for, a long time. I agree with that.
And you've got one guy that knows it, and it's gonna end up, you're gonna end up with McDonald Engineering or somebody qualified. It's gonna cost the town $150 an hour.
If that, maybe more with McDonald Engineering.
I'm just saying 150, okay? This should have happened a long time ago. That's my opinion.
And just so everyone understands, this is not something that you can do or not do, or, call in sick. Has to be done 7 days a week. There is no, let's the heck with it, we'll skip it today, we'll do it tomorrow. Can't do that. This has to be done. We're responsible for that. And based on that responsibility, this is a very good move. We're definitely going in the right direction. I don't think there should be, obviously discussion, but does anybody have an objection to this?
No.
I'll make the motion.
Well, hang on a second now. Ken, I don't see any problem with it. Can Tom do be the building inspector and do this?
He's only working 2 days a week as it is.
Right, I understand that, but I just wanted to make sure that we're not gonna have any conflict of interest here.
Off the top of my head, I don't see any reason why he can't have more than one.
Okay.
Isla has more than one.
Yes.
position, and I don't see why.
Nicole has more than one.
Okay, I just wanted to,
She's on the board, so it's a little different, but
Still, that was
I don't think there's any problem.
okay, like I said,
And you're
I'm in
better
favor.
keeping it in-house because people know what's going on.
I agree. When this was mentioned to me, when George mentioned this, I said it too.
I said it years ago.
I know.
The issue you're thinking of maybe to Nicole, when she was on the board, because she's on the board, it might have been an issue, but he's not on the board. So
No.
it's not an issue there.
No, so, and Tom said that he would be willing to do this. So he's gonna have to understand though, when George is off, he's gonna have to come in and do it, So.
What do we do with this salary, though? Can we go ahead and do this, pass it, and appoint him without a set salary yet?
He's not getting paid until you.
Because I don't know how long you might want to do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He's not qualified to do it yet, so it's gonna be a while. He just go to school. But I will happily make this motion because I think, as Doug has been saying, it's long overdue.
It might Might add that George has to do water samples just on a daily basis. He has to do these samples and record them. You know, it's just not, and twice a day he checks every pump, house and station and,
Is Department of Health certified too? It's not just
Right.
training, it's certification through the state.
He's gotta have a state certification to do it. And he's gonna have to go to school to get it.
So he needs a certification even to be an assistant, is that right?
Yes, to do
Yeah,
the
they,
testing, to make, to keep the records.
so, is there a motion?
There's a motion, I made the motion.
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilwoman Moore? Councilman Craig?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, reschedule the 2018 audit meeting. We were supposed to meet today at 6 PM to audit the books. The bank statements haven't arrived yet, so we had to cancel that, and we're looking for another date. Sandy, when do you think it would be
They
appropriate?
came today, so,
And you have to put a notice in the paper,
right.
and that's 7 days.
Right.
So if you put it in tomorrow, are we looking at next Tuesday, Wednesday?
The fourth Tuesday of the month is when we always did it.
What day?
Am I right, Sandy? We always did it at the end of the month.
I don't know. We started trying to do it before the board meeting, and it doesn't work. We don't get the bank statements before this.
First off, you have to make sure Gerard is available on this date because he has to do the court audit. So you have to tell us what day you're available.
I mean, if you want the fourth Tuesday is the 22nd.
I just assume get it over next week if we
I was gonna
can.
say I cannot be here on the 22nd.
Next week, I don't think you have enough time, it'll be on Tuesday. You know, there's 7 days, we're looking at notice.
And the following,
Do like Thursday or something. I'll do the Thursday, the 17th.
is there anything going on here on the 17th on Thursday? Is Jack, are you meeting on the 17th?
I won't be available 17th.
I'm over too, so. So tell me when you get are available.
What day would somebody like to do it?
What about the Tuesday, what's the Tuesday before the 17th? The 15th?
Does that give you enough time to get it in the paper?
Yeah.
Exactly 7 days. Including meetings.
The Tuesday is February 12th, right? You're talking?
No, the 15th.
We're in January.
What are we talking, January?
Yeah. Or what about Wednesday, the 16th?
Well, they have court here that night, so.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, we've done it with court, though, we did it in the other room, didn't we? Or not?
Yeah, we did it.
Well, the judge has to be available.
Yeah, that's true.
So it'd have to be a Tuesday then, Sandy?
Yes.
Is that,
On the 15th?
Oh, they're saying that's not enough time.
Oh.
Well, I just said 7 days, right? It's gotta be posted in the Gazette.
It's, I thought it was 5 days. But Gerard's saying 7.
Gerard's not
It's
here
still
on
the end of the
Tuesday.
month then, so the 29th. I mean, that's kind of far away, but it's the last Tuesday.
What's the big deal? It's gotta get done in such a rush.
I think you're supposed to do it by a certain day.
Yeah, it's gotta be done, you just can't, it's gotta be done by a certain day. I don't remember what it is it February?
No, I think it's before that.
Can we do it the 29th, is that?
Whatever Gerard's available.
The second Tuesday of the fourth Tuesday of the month, what day is that?
22nd.
You
I can't
available?
be-
That's when we always had the second meeting.
Are
I
you
know Sue
available?
can't do it.
I'm available 22nd.
I'm not available the 22nd.
You're not here?
Huh?
She can do it.
Are you gonna be available on the 22nd?
Me?
No. So-
No, I'm
so-
not on the
so-
22nd. That's what I'm saying.
How about any other day?
Any other Tuesday I can, just not the 22nd.
Other than Wednesday, we can do any other day that week, I suppose.
24th is a fun
Is that,
24th is a Thursday, I can do that.
Well, it depends, if we do it at 6, I'll build it, the planning board meeting at 7. So we could do that if you wanna do it at like 6.
Well, we can do it at 5.
Okay.
We don't have to,
The planning board meeting's at 7, so I guess we'll do it before.
So what are we looking at, the January?
24th.
That's a
it's
Thursday,
fine with me, 5 PM,
Thursday, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Thursday, 5 PM.
that's the 24th, right?
Next Thursday at 5.
In 2
Next
weeks.
Thursday.
2 weeks.
January 24th.
Is that all right with everybody? Okay, 5 PM. Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes.
Yes.
General funds claim is hereby resolved that the town board approves claims number 272 through 284 in the amount of $13,005.22. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Sandy, or is it,
Second,
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, general funds claims is hereby resolved that the town board approves claims number 1 through number 8 in the amount of $7,560.04. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
A second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Water funds claim is hereby resolved that the town board approves claims number 128 through number 138 in the amount of $7,133.94. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Trust and agency fund claim is hereby resolved that the town board approves claim number 6 in the amount of $435 for the solar law attorney fees pertaining to the planning board. Discussion?
Does this have to still do with that solar farm one going in, or is this?
Yes.
This is,
There's an engineer bill for the solar farm.
yes.
Yes.
They did get their applications, right?
Yeah, they're coming in
There's-
January.
Yes.
For this month.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Okay, any comments or discussion, council members?
I got a question. What's this all about? Well, I'm reading this guideline number 10 here on the highway thing, you know? Can you explain that to me?
Where's that?
He's looking back.
I'm back here, I'm back a few pages. I think you just slipped over it when you talk about it, you know? I was wondering with that, I used to have like a $2,000 thing where I could count on if I had to do a little work, you know, with three bids. But what we got going here with the county, when we got a problem, I can't wait until we have a meeting to discuss it if there's a small issue where a road has a problem. You know what I'm
What are you
saying?
looking at, guideline 10?
No, yeah, he's looking at what we talked about earlier about the.
We didn't talk about it, the highway. It slipped over, or I missed it.
Yeah, another procurement policy.
That's one of you.
Huh?
That's one of you.
I know.
Anything that you deem to be necessary for like an emergency, you have the ability to do without, this is for non-emergency expenditures.
That's what I was wondering, when reading this, it did specify.
Oh, no, like when we do the bids for the roads.
Yeah, well,
That
that's
kind of thing.
a big thing that is different when it goes to thousands of dollars. But I always had leeway, but now the county's doing this for us, which is beautiful. So I just call them, okay, and they come and do it. But they don't actually give me a price on small stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
If a road just, the rain or breaks up or something, I'll call them and they'll come and fix it.
Yeah, but it's their road.
No, our roads I'm talking about. If something's wrong with our roads,
Well, yeah, if it's an emergency, that's what we do. You know, if there's something wrong with it,
okay.
like, that's not a problem. But it's all the big projects, like,
Yeah. No, well, I didn't see it, it wasn't specified in here about emergency or anything, I was just curious about it, that's all.
Okay, no, anytime we have an emergency,
Yeah,
like
okay.
when the air conditioning goes off, state police, I can't wait around for them to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, okay.
You know,
I just wanted to clarify that, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
anything else? Sue?
No.
Jim?
No.
Doug?
No.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it a second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Yes. Councilwoman Laura?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes.